Okay, welcome back in. I'm now going to continue my 32 and 32 series. We're over halfway done now, so we'll see if I can finish this sooner than later. So I'm going to take a look at the New York Islanders. They would finish last season with a record of 39, 27, and 16. They had 94 points on the season. At home, they were fantastic, 21, 10, and 10, so roughly 500. On the road, they were 18, 17, and 6. So they weren't bad on home or away, but obviously I'm sure they would have preferred to have more wins than losses. So the Islanders would finish third in their Metropolitan Division. They would take on Carolina for the second year in a row. Unfortunately, they would lose in 5 games. So despite the fact that they made the playoffs, they really weren't able to make a whole lot of noise. So despite the fact that they've had the 18th pick in the first round, they actually traded with Chicago. So the Blackhawks would draft Sasha Boisvert, a center out of Muskegon of the USHL. So if the Islanders did draft in the first round, it would have been later on, but they did trade their first round pick to the Chicago Blackhawks. So we'll take a look at their roster and, as always, see who's still there and who is not. So starting with the forward group, Matt Barzal, no surprise there, has 7 years left to go on his contract. Casey Cizikas has 4 years left to go on his deal. Anthony Duclair was signed in the off-season, believe from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Cal Clutterbuck has not re-signed. I don't think he's coming back. There's a good chance he may have signed elsewhere unless he decided to retire. I mean, he would be 36 years old, and when you get to this point in your career, you're definitely winding down more than anything. Pierre Engvall has 6 years left to go on his contract. Hudson Fasching has a year left to go on his deal. Simon Holmstrom has re-signed, so he is coming back. Bo Horvat has 7 more years left to go on his contract. Keeping going down this list, Ishkakov is not here, so either he signed elsewhere or they're still working things out. The captain, Anders Lee, has 2 more years left to go on his contract. Kyle McLean has re-signed, so he's definitely coming back. Matt Martin is not on this list, so I just like him and Clutterbuck, I think both those guys have left town, and there's a good chance their careers might be winding down. Brock Nelson has a year left to go on his contract. Jean-Gabriel Pajot has 2 more years left to go on his deal. Kyle Palmieri is entering the last year of his deal. Scrolling down, Oliver Wahlstrom has re-signed, so he is coming back for the Islanders. And we'll take a look at their defensive group. Sebastian Aho, I did mention before how he has signed elsewhere, so he's not a member of the Islanders anymore. Robert Bortozzo also left. Noah Dobson has a year left to go on his contract. Scott Mayfield has 6 years left to go on his. Adam Palesh has 5 more years left to go on his contract. Ryan Pollock has 6 years left to go on his deal. Mike Riley has re-signed, and Alexander Romanov has a year left to go on his deal. When it comes to the goaltending tandem, they've had the same 2 goalies, I believe, for the last 2 or 3 seasons. Ilya Sorokin, his contract did expire this past year, but he has re-signed an 8-year, $8.25 million, and Samuel Varlamov has 3 years left to go on his deal. So for this year, for the New York Islanders, it's going to be tough. Even if there are 4 teams in the Atlantic and 4 teams in the Metropolitan Division, I think it's going to be tough for the Islanders to get in. I'll say this in every video that I do when it comes to Metropolitan teams. I truly believe in the Rangers, the Hurricanes, and the Devils should round out the top 3 of that division. And then after that, with a wild card spot, like I said, even if there are 4 teams, I still think that it's possible that the Islanders might squeak in. But I'm just trying to think of the other teams that are in that division. You have Pittsburgh, they're going to be competitive. Washington's trying to get back in the postseason. I think they're kind of all in that mix. I mean, the Islanders might be a little bit better than the Penguins and the Capitals, so they could squeak in. I'm going to say a maybe. They should be in the hunt, but I don't see them being better than the Rangers or the Hurricanes or the Devils, for that matter. So I think they for sure should finish at least 4th in that division. It might be good enough to get into the playoffs, but again, there could be 5 teams from the Pacific that get in, and obviously the Islanders would be bounced out if that was the case. So they should be in the hunt. I'm not 100% sold on the Islanders. So I'd say yes, no, maybe. Maybe is probably where I'd put them. So in the hunt, but I can't lock them in for sure when it comes to the postseason. All right, that takes care of my preview for the New York Islanders. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.